So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another collaboration album review of The Shield on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and I'm joined again by Senorita Sabrosura. Hey, Senorita, how are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm here. Obviously, I'm in the other couch today, and I'm here
Yeah.
to talk about today. We're here to talk about the brand new album by the band Process. So here's the album, and it has a really super long title. It's oh my god, what's the title again?
Good night. God bless. I love you. Delete.
Yes, it's a mouthful, but it's a great
It's so
title
long they didn't put it on the album cover.
because it doesn't fit anywhere. And this is the second time we talk about Crosses because last year in December they put out an EP and we talked about that EP, which was a pretty interesting EP. So this is the second time we're talking about this band here on the channel.
And
So
this is
Senorita,
that's the second official album from them.
their second official album, the first one actually came out in 2014. I remember when it came out.
Yeah.
I was really hyped because obviously it has Chino Moreno. But now I
Mhm.
know that Sean Lopez is just as important as Chino. For those of you that don't know Sean, was in a band called Far, and back in the 90s, they used to open sometimes for Deftones. So they go a long way. So yeah, this is their second full-length album, and the first one in, so if it was 29 years,
Nine
their
years.
first
Yep.
new album in 9 years. And they're gonna do a tour next year, and they're actually going to Chicago.
Yes.
But they're going on a bad, like a
They're
weekday.
gonna play like 15 minutes from home.
You could walk there.
Well, no, 15 minutes in car.
Oh, yeah, then don't walk there. Plus, it's gonna be cold in February.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold. That's the January and February are the coldest of the
Yeah,
month.
you don't want to die going to a concert. So we're obviously going to talk about what we thought of this album that came out on Friday. We're gonna talk tracks, and at the end, we're gonna, you know, give our final thoughts and ratings. So, Señorita, uh, what was the initial impression for you for this album?
Well, like you said, we discussed the EP, and I thought the EP was gonna part of this album, like the same songs with plus new ones. But no, it's just 15 new brand new songs, and um like like you said, it's a grower. I like it, and the more I listen to the album, I like it. I listened to the album during the weekend, but I listened to it more today, and I didn't get tired. I think it's a great album to have as a background music, like because it's more about the beats and the music and not so much about the lyrics. Um so I had it today while I was doing other stuff, and I like it. I really like the production, the beats, the electronic part of the album. I find it like it's dark but not pessimistic, and it's very sensual, like very sexy with that Chino voice.
That's Chino.
Yeah.
He's whispering to you. So yeah, yeah,
What
those were
about
the
you?
first. So this Friday there were a lot of albums, and I'm a masochist. I'm like, I want to review them all. So I did listen to this on Friday, but I listened it to more like after I reviewed those other albums because obviously I was gonna do this one with you. Uh, so today I had this album. I listened to it Friday. I listened to it some part of the weekend, especially I was driving and I wasn't alone. And my girl was driving with me in the car, and she's not a fan of this music, but she said she liked it. She said, yeah, that it was very sensual. And she's like, I'm glad you're not putting Bad Bunny in the car. So that was that was a good thing. She's like, no, please leave that Process album. So yeah, I got a perspective from someone that doesn't know what that is. So yeah. Uh, It was good for driving. And today I was listening to it, but I actually was reading the lyrics, and it's got some interesting lyrics. But yeah, I think like the music so hypnotic and sensual that sometimes you won't pay attention to the lyrics, but it's got some interesting lyrics. Chino Moreno's like that. That he's always, I don't know, like that thing that I said that Deftone songs are always horny. So to me, Crosses, I found them more like sensual. They're sensual, and I found that on this full length, they take advantage of everything they done. So I do think that this is the best thing that the band has done so far. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the single Invisible Hand. I thought that that single really had the tone of the last EP, especially that Vivian song that I loved. That
Yeah,
was on the last EP. So it had that like that initial beat that I really liked, but there was I remember on that EP there was a song that was kind of annoying that it sounded like it was like an island beat, and they don't have that on this record. So
yeah,
I I found that good. And also this album has Robert Smith
yes.
on a song, like if you get Robert Smith from The Cure to sing with you, he doesn't do that much. He also did it
Actually, he does. He
on
does.
a Churches album.
No, but he loves to collaborate with other people. He has done so many collaborations, and I read that Chino and Robert Smith are friends from a few years ago, like long time friends.
I
And
could I could
he
see
was
them
like,
being
I'm
friends.
and he was like, I'm gonna ask him, not expecting for him to say yes, and suddenly he says yes, I'm in.
Yeah, and we'll talk about tracks soon. So yeah, uh, I think, like I said at the first, like it's kind of a grower. Like every time I listen to it more, I got different frames from it. Uh, because there's records that are more immediate, but sometimes I appreciate those records that grow on you because you tend to love them more in the long run. And
Yes.
so yeah, I put it on today a lot, and I wasn't bored with it, but I tried to pay a little bit of attention to the lyrics. But Chino Moreno's lyrics sometimes are kind of hard to decipher. Uh, like they can be very abstract and sensual, and sometimes you're not quite sure what he's talking about every time. But they're good. It's Chino, and yeah. So those are my first impressions. So let's talk tracks. What tracks did you enjoy? I know this album has like 15 songs.
Yeah.
That's a lot of songs, but it's 49 minutes.
Yeah, it's a good length of album, and I didn't find it long, even though it's 15 songs. Like it went fast. I really like the opener, Pleasure. I like it as an opener. For me, it sets the tone of what to expect. I like it has like some downward spiral vibes. Like the beats
Yeah,
feel dark. Uh, like it has that influence from Nine Inch Nails. It's very techno. I like it. It's
it
like
goes like
it feels
pleasure.
dark but sexy. Yes.
And I don't know. There's a part on that song where it sounds like I don't know what it sounds like, but he's like, sure. I'm like, what is Chino doing in that booth? Like,
Oh, he was having pleasure.
yeah, when I was listening to it, I'm like, I wonder if Senorita thinks the same thing. I'm
Yep.
like, is Chino stroking the chicken while
I
doing
don't
this?
know. I don't know,
I don't think so, but
but I like it. I don't think so, but I like it as an opener. Um, Another song that I was really surprised that I like so much is Big Youth. Uh,
that's the one with the rapper, right?
yes, that's when that song is with LP from Run the Jewels. Uh, and it features Run the Jewels, and the music, the beats made me think of Run the Jewels. I seen Run the Jewels twice live.
Great
I
hip hop
listened to
band.
their Yeah, I listened to their albums and I like them. I especially like the beats and the production. And then I read that Sean was listening a lot to Run the Jewels when he was doing this album. So you can see the influence. And I like it that it has the rapper, and but it's like it has like a trip hop vibe, the song.
Yeah, it does. That
And
beat.
it has like a very hard bass. Like I like the bass. It sounds almost like a drum and bass vibe.
Yeah, no, that's a very, yeah, it's a very good track, and like you said, uh, it feels like a good collaboration because they're like, for example, like last year we talked about a Gorillaz album, and remember there was a song with Bad Bunny, and it didn't sound
Mhm.
like Gorillaz. It
No,
sounded like a Bad Bunny song, but on this one it sounds like Crosses with LP, and
yes,
it's like a very good
it's a
collaboration.
very good match.
Yeah, I agree as well. And Run the Jewels is a hip hop band that I didn't know until like their last album, and they're really good. So yeah, I thought that was great as well. So what other tracks you enjoyed a lot?
Of course, I like the song with Robert Smith. Um, Girls Float, Boys Cry. Uh, and it's a funny story. The name of the song and how they collaborate with Robert Smith and everything. Uh, but I like that it has that, like Robert Smith was another perfect match. He brought the gothic drama to this song, and you can hear him. You said you almost didn't hear him.
Yeah, I had to
Uh,
listen to the song a few times, but I'm
yeah.
like, okay,
Uh,
there's Robert.
he's like singing, almost crying in the chorus. It says, "I can shake it now. I can shake it." It's like a subtle touch, and because their voices like mix so well that you don't know if it's Chino or if it's Robert Smith.
Yeah,
Um, and the title of the song, um, they didn't tell Robert Smith the title of the song until later. He doesn't know if he has thoughts about, but when uh, they sent the song and Robert Smith collaborating and everything, and afterwards he didn't know what to name the song, and he read an article about scientific reasons that women are more buoyant uh, and more to float and than men in water, and he was like, "Oh, girls float, men, boys cry."
yeah. When I saw the title, I was expecting for part of the song to start like "Boys Don't Cry." I'm like, is this a cover? Is this? So I was kind of confused with the title.
Yeah, no, but
What he did there.
it's because of that. He wanted to play with with boys cry. Um, and the last song that I like the whole album, but the other song that I like is the title track of the album. Good night, good bless, I love you, delete.
Yeah, that one
Uh,
ends the album. Yeah.
yeah. I like it. I think it feels like a beautiful song, dark, and the story behind the title of the song is because that was a phrase that Chino Moreno family used a lot when they were growing up. Before going to bed every night, they always said to each other, "Good night, God bless, I love you." And then Chino realized he doesn't say that phrase anymore. So that's the when he insert the delete part. And if you listen to the song, it says well, sweet dreams, good night. Like he was remembering about that phrase when he was growing up. Like good night, good bless, I love you. And then the ominous part, the delete, it's he says like it's having like a beautiful, comforting sentiment, and then one day you realize it's gone, delete.
That's very deep. In my house, they just said go to sleep. That was it. So yeah, those are your favorite songs. So there's some songs that I like, but there's this album has shorter songs, and these shorter songs like really stood out to me a lot. One of my favorite songs on the album, which is one of the shorter songs, it's I'm trying to remember the name of the song right now. It will come back to me. Okay, it's the song Eraser, because that
Okay.
song at the end, like at the 129 mark, you hear like the distorted guitar. So it's like it's shorter, but it's kind of like more aggressive in that sense. So that was a pretty interesting one. What do you thought about that one, about Eraser?
Yeah, it's short, but I like it. It's a good transition to the next song. I
Yeah,
like how every song like sometimes like they blend to me. Like you didn't know when a song's finished and the other start. But I like it because it's a good transition.
yeah, it's good. And I thought the other single that they had, Light as a Feather,
Yeah,
is pretty interesting as well. It's like more uh it's like a more like shield, like techno, more a spacey song. And I think it's sensual, but it's sensual in a way that's, it takes its time. What do you thought about that one?
yeah. Like you said, it's sensual. I like that the whole album. These songs they experiment a lot with the electronic part, with
Yeah,
the
synthesizers
beats,
as well.
the synthesizers. And I read an interview from Sean that he says that because uh, synthesizers are new to him, he's like a kid with a new toy, like experimenting and playing. Like he's not even touching the guitar. And there's a song I don't remember which one right now that you think you're listening to a guitar. It's not a guitar. It's like a Japanese piano.
Yeah, I think that would be in Light as a Feather, or I thought another song that's pretty like strange with the electronics is the Pulse Plague. I thought that was really like one of the weirdest songs on the record, but weird in a good way. Like the
Yeah.
way that the song goes, like it starts with some like like weird electronics and like weird synth noise and like drum programming. So I thought that was interesting.
Yes.
Uh, I think Pleasure. I think it's a great album opener, and it really sets the tone of the record to me. Yeah, Invisible Hand. We already talked about it. I think it's good as a single because it really it goes through the sound of the last EP, Permanent Radiant. It was like it sounded like a song that could have been on that EP.
On that
So
EP, yeah.
I think that's why they used that one as a single. But yeah, I think Pleasure, it's one of my favorite tracks. Uh, I also think, I like every track on this record. I think it's a solid track all around. Obviously, the 14 Girls Float, Boys Cry, when like the Chino and Robert Smith like singing together, it's really melancholic, and it's really so beautiful when both of their songs like the both of their voices like unite
Yeah.
together.
Well, Chino said that's the saddest song on the whole album because it's an older song from a few years ago. Um, like he was passing through a very dark period and he wrote that song. And now when he was revisiting and recording with Robert Smith, he was like, "Oh wow, it's just strange to revisit these feelings that I already worked through." But it was, and he recognized that it was a very dark period, and he said it's uh the saddest song on the whole album.
Yeah, and also I also found the third song that was like almost like it sounds a lot like a cover. It's sad, but in the tone it sounds like a cover they did of I think it was like a George Michael song that they covered in Crosses. I can't remember the song right now because they done a few covers, Goodbye Horses and others, so they're pretty good. But yeah, uh, I think, yeah, like I said, no weak tracks, but yeah, to me the standouts would be the one with Robert Smith, Pleasures, Invisible Hand, and surprisingly the one with LP. Those four songs are like the standout tracks, and I love Eraser because it has that crunchy like guitar. So I'm like, yes. Uh, so it reminded me like like a very like a industrial like when Nine Inch Nails played Hurt, that it's slower and then it goes into the electronic like
Yes.
the distorted guitar, something like that. So uh now we're gonna give our final thoughts and ratings for this. So what are your final thoughts on this album?
Well, I like the direction the band is going. It feels like very adventurous, and I like because it's a side project. I think they don't feel like the pressure that it has to be like a hit, number one record, whatever. So they're more relaxed, so they can have fun and experiment, and comes with a good album. And like I said, it feels dark but not pessimist. For me, it's a great album. I'll give it an 8.
Nice. Yeah. I also think it's a grower. It may
Yes.
be in my end of year list, but I would go with an 8.2 out of 10 right now. Super solid record.
Yeah, it's a grower,
It may
definitely.
still grow on me a little bit more. Uh, I think every song is great, but still, my favorite Crosses song is Vivian from their last EP. That song, it just oozes sensuality. It's just a great song. But this album has some great tunes. So for February 14th, this is or when you're with someone, it's a good album to put on the background. Like uh I think it's a solid record, and I think Crosses. I think Chino Moreno. I don't know why. I think this is more the type of music he likes than Deftones. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well, yeah. Oh,
I
I
don't,
think he loves
I
Deftones,
don't
but yeah.
know. Maybe he likes it more now because it's something different. Like he's been doing the Deftones thing for so long, and people always ask the same songs when they see.
So
So
yeah,
to do something different, new, it must feel refreshing.
yeah. And plus, he's had all those side projects. I think this, yeah, I really like it. I really enjoy it. I think it's their best material yet. So, what do you think about the new Process album? I'm gonna say that God died, God bless, I love you, delete. What are your favorite tracks? We would really want to know. And please subscribe to my friend's channel, Senorita Sabrosura, if you want her Sabrosura recommendations, and buy her merch at sabrosura.art.
On
And
Instagram.
yes, please don't be cheap. Buy her stuff. buy her merch. And obviously, if you follow me, I'm like 50 or like 49 subscribers away from 1K, and I unveiled a new logo to the channel today. So there's a new logo. So we're almost getting there. So if you like the videos that I'm putting out, give us a like, share with other people. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so and share it. So it helps me with the YouTube algorithm to get to more people like yourselves. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield on a Couch,
Señorita Sabrosura.
and we'll see you next time right here on the couch. Thank you and good night.